The only thing I could think of to describe my feelings as this episode progressed was this. My last giveaway for this review season for a $20 gift card to Amazon will be announced at the end of this video, along with the winner for last review and for the Father's Day video. Before we start, let's talk about that Stark sigil being back on Winterfell in the opening credits. After that, I didn't have to watch any more of the episode. I knew in my heart of hearts, everything was going to be okay. But then I watched the rest because I lack self-control. First, the music for the first few minutes kind of threw me off. I actually didn't like it. I actually hated it for the first few minutes of the episode, and then it just became absolutely perfect as the episode progressed. And Game of Thrones has always been top quality for music, and this episode was no exception. And it just wasn't the music for King's Landing, it was for everything else, from King's Landing to dealing with the Freys, to the North, the Tower of Joy scene. Just the music was phenomenal this episode, and I feel like I just can't praise it enough, so I'm going to stop, but seriously, the music selection for this episode was phenomenal. So we open with the trial day for Rawrist and Cersei, and Tommen just looking devastated. He knew that his wife's brother and his own mother were going to have a verdict that none of them truly wanted. But of course, Cersei isn't going to let that happen because she's gone full-blown crazy and has decided she knows best. Like that overprotective parent you just want to punch out. And as soon as we saw the mountain restrict Tommen to his room, we knew something bad was going to happen. But for being a madwoman, Cersei actually had a really well laid out plan, which was impressive and infuriating in a way. The usage of wildfire was a gamble though. Wildfire becomes unstable as time goes on. She was risking a lot more than the sept going up. Then we have Qyburn on a mission to kill Pycelle. Did the little birds' faces kill anyone else? Like, they knew what they had to do, but some of them looked so sad that they had to do it. Hey, to keep getting food and these other treats, I'm gonna stab this old man to death, which is most likely going to keep me from growing into a full-functioning adult. If I'm even allowed to reach a full-functioning adult. Was I talking about the children or myself? You don't know. And Pycelle took a lot of stabbings. I mean, I don't want to be creepy or anything, but I was super impressed with how many times he got stabbed and just kept chugging along. That was hot. That old man has stamina. Creepy. I just made this creepy. Then we see the trial, and poor Rawrist. He gives away everything he is. He declares who he is a terrible person, renounces everything he has or will have, gets carved into, is in a huge amount of physical, emotional, mental pain, and then dies. That's Game of Thrones for you. That's actually kind of life for you in a way too. But I swore when Marjorie figured out something was going wrong, Cersei and Tommen weren't at the trial, she was going to get out in time. Maybe just her and the rest die? But no, again, that's Game of Thrones for you. Her facade falling when she yells at the High Sparrow to forget about the gods, and his expression was priceless. I think at that moment he realized a lot of people had been playing him and he wasn't as clever as he thought. But of course, in his arrogance, the High Sparrow refuses to let them leave and they all die. And a god among men was lost this episode. So I don't care if you drink. I don't care if you're a 12-year-old watching these videos. I need you to pour yourself a glass of alcohol, raise your glass, and say goodbye to a sex god.
Of all the money that e'er I spent, I
Yeah, and Lancel got shanked like a little bitch. I don't have anything else to add on to that. I just like that he got shanked like a little bitch. Lancel. What a stupid fucking name. I am a little disappointed we didn't get to see Marjorie's long con. I really wanted to see what her plans were for dealing with the High Sparrow, but I feel like this kind of was representative of real life, where you can have the best laid plans, you can be chugging along in life, and then you just boom, you're dead. And whether that's from wildfire burning you alive, or a terminal illness, cancer, you fucking piece of shit, or someone killing you, or just a random accident. I mean, that's just life. It's awesome! After the set blows, Cersei's face was fantastic. Just that smug satisfaction, you just want to rip off her face. But as Tywin said, Cersei isn't as clever as she thinks she is. And she forgot about one of the things she loves the most, Tommen. The showrunners believe that if Cersei had been in that room with him, he wouldn't have jumped. But she failed him by not being there, and he couldn't handle what was happening. So the tragedy of Tommen, he wanted to be a good king and for people not to die. And his mother and other people undermined him at every opportunity and used him like a pawn. He never stood a chance. But that scene was perfectly done. Just sets his crown down and walks to a window. No hesitation. So now Cersei is the queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and I want to vomit everywhere. Do not let my outfit fool you. Although her crown and her outfit were amazing. It really did remind me of Tywin's outfit. Not exactly, but it kind of was the female version of Tywin, which is what I honestly think Cersei believes she is, and especially with what she did at the Sept of Baelor. She's like, oh, I'm my dad, I'm so ruthless. This is basically the reigns of Castamere all over again. No, it's not. It's not. If you look at the difference between what you and your father did, it really isn't. But in your crazy fucking head, you're going to think it is, because you are the most brilliant, amazing person ever, and you're just way ahead of everyone else. Hey, how'd that plan go with keeping your last kid alive? Oh, is it too soon? Ungregor is going to find me, so this is my last video. Cheers. She's a lot more dangerous now because she doesn't have her children, and most of what she did, not everything, as let's not pretend like Cersei wasn't always trying to do things for power, but with them gone, Cersei is a lot more dangerous. Oh, and now she's full-blown crazy too, so that helps with the danger level. Her tormenting the Septa is a sneak peek into the cruelty and harshness she will use to deal with people that cross her. Cersei doesn't have to scheme anymore. She doesn't have to go in the shadows. She's the queen. She has the power, and that will only make her acts more terrible. Now try to guess what the mountain was doing to the Septa to make her scream. Very dark. During the coronation, that look Jaime gave her, he knew exactly what she did. And I'm still not convinced it won't be Jaime that kills her next season. Daenerys attacks, Cersei starts screaming about burning them all, and Jaime puts an end to that. Jaime knows she went too far, and she already has a crazy scientist as her hand like Aerys II. But you want to know the best part of Cersei being on the throne? When her power is yet again ripped from her, and she truly has nothing. No family, no children, no position of power. And she'll realize the sibling she always hated helped the person who took her power. My secret hope is that Tyrion's threat comes true about her joy turning to ashes in her mouth, and that Daenerys comes to King's Landing and burns down the Red Keep with Cersei in it, and literally ashes are in her mouth as things are burning around her. But I'm still pretty sure Jaime's going to end up snuffing her out. Lastly, on Cersei, I talked about last review what Euron was going to do about Theon and Yara kind of fucking up his plans for getting Daenerys on his side. And now I'm kind of wondering if Cersei is going to marry Euron and they're going to be this batshit crazy couple, because those two working together is actually really terrifying. I feel like it would be a little more terrifying in the books, because Euron in the books is just... I feel like Euron in the show is Disney evil, and Euron in the books is like rapist, serial killer, real life, fucking psycho. You're not gonna be able to join up with some plucky friends and go on a quest to destroy him. Also, I probably shouldn't be saying this because we finally got Daenerys to go to Westeros, But I kind of want to see Euron's fleet fight her fleet and cause I don't want it to be a clean sweep, even though we know when she gets there she's going to be dealing with other problems besides conquering the Seven Kingdoms with undead party time. But I don't know, I'd like to see a little bit more conflict before she gets there, but then the other half of me is saying, shut the fuck up. Just let her get to Westeros. The crossing, Jaime standing up to Walder and spitting in his face. Ugh, that's gotta burn. You traded one family that sneers at you for another. And Jaime's face when Walder compared them to each other as Kingslayers, his flinch. Jaime considers killing Aerys one of his finest acts. He does not want to be put in the same category as Walder, who did it for power, because then it taints what Jaime did, at least for himself. Obviously what he did has already tainted him because of the society he lives in. Then Arya appears and we got motherfucking Frey pies! Motherfuckers. I don't even care. Oh, your volume spiked too much and now our ears hurt because we wear headphones. Deal with it, you little bitch. Yes. We didn't get the Manderleys North Remember speech. We didn't get the Manderleys doing it. We didn't have Wyman. Blah, blah, blah. Just stop for a second. We got motherfucking Frey pies. Arya is a cold operator at this point. That she can just smile after she slits a man's throat and lets him bleed out? Yes, she killed Walder how her mother was killed. Justice porn. Yeah, she got revenge for the Starks. Justice porn. But think about how cruel Arya is getting. She is taking joy in the murder of others. That doesn't bode well for where her life is heading. Was this episode mostly about dysfunctional children? Maybe we will see Arya and Melisandre meet again as Mel predicted, as Mel is now heading south, or maybe even Sandor. I think in season 7 we're gonna get another round of really awesome reunions. But we finally have some sweet guest right breaking revenge. Tywin was shot by arrows in his home by his son, Roose stabbed by his son, and Walder had his throat slit. 3 men that arranged the event. Even if some of them didn't exactly break guest right, they just helped plan it. Next, Old Town. Old Town and Hightower were both beautiful, just gorgeous. Exactly how I envisioned it and the Citadel. The library was magnificent. There was so much going on this episode, and I feel like the Old Town scenes might be overlooked. But really, the set designers' abilities on this show are incredible. Compare Old Town to other show sets or special effects you watch. Yeah, amazing. And Sam is going to be right at home with all those books. Though I guess he isn't too worried about his dad finding him and taking the sword back, even though he told his dad exactly where he was going, and then Sam's like, oh, I'm gonna head exactly there. So, I'm interested to see how that turns out. Next, Dorne. I said that without flinching. First, thank you D&D. I realized I was a bit hasty in another review where I said that if you never showed Dorne again, I would give you my firstborn child, or kill a bum. So by showing Dorne, you have released me from that promise. And you were also very merciful by giving us Dorne, but also bringing in the shit-talking Olenna, who basically just grabbed the sand snakes by their hair and just shoved their face in the fucking dirt. So, you are very merciful, and we thank you for what you gave us. The Queen of Thorns is my goddamn spirit animal at this point. If I could channel an ounce of her, I would. But instead, I just drink and cry myself to sleep. The Scorpion line, if you watched my Dorne history videos, which I'm sure you all have, and this is not a shameless plug, this was actually reference to actual history where a Tyrell was put in charge after the Targaryens took over Dorne for just a little bit, and they did actually end up pouring scorpions down on a Tyrell. Well, he actually did it himself by pulling the rope, but they fooled him and made him think it was something else, and he was in bed and they fell on him. Stuff like that just really excites me. I know they don't 100% take from the history of the books, and I don't expect them to, nor do I want them to, but when they actually do little things like that or reference to the history of the A Song of Ice and Fire universe, it just excites me so much. So then Olenna is promised something she wants, and Varys walks out. And I want to believe he was peeking around the corner trying to hear, thinking, okay, can I come out now? How about now? The Fire and Bloodline gave me chills. I feel like basically this episode was giving us what we wanted, but delivered by different characters in slightly, or maybe not so slightly, different circumstances. And I was a tad bit disappointed that they didn't really talk about how the Sand Snakes remained in power of Dorne, but honestly, at the same time, not disappointed. I'm just accepting it and moving on and praising the gods that we don't have to spend any more time in Dorne than we have to. Meereen, Daenerys demonstrating that she has what it takes to be a cold leader by getting rid of her manstress? Could she do that so easily in the books? But the marriage possibilities excite me. But it might not excite the man she marries if she can't pop out those parasites we're told are adorable, even though they suck your most valuable resources from you. As it is now basically Cersei, Jon, Daenerys, and the others, I'm kinda hoping Daenerys marries Jon. Then afterwards, Jon figures out that Daenerys is his aunt, and he freaks out and is disgusted, while Daenerys is like, nah brah, you're Targaryen. It's all good. This shit is our jam. The Tyrion and Daenerys scenes had me tearing up. Tyrion, even though he was made hand before, has never really had people realize his true worth. Even when he demonstrates what he's capable of, he never is fully respected because he's a dwarf. To finally have someone see him for him, not his size, not his deformity, but him. Daenerys doesn't look down on Tyrion. I mean, she does because of his height. You know what I mean, I shouldn't have to explain this. The internet fucks with your brain. So Daenerys doesn't look down on Tyrion in the way you know I'm saying. She sees him for him in a way most of his family and everyone else couldn't. Tyrion knows that and finally found something to believe in. The tears in his eyes when she makes him the hand was so beautiful. Something he truly earned. Not because of his father, not because of his family name, though those things certainly did put him in a position to help her. And Tyrion will be invaluable to her in Westeros. He spent his entire life there. The people Daenerys has with her, with a few exceptions, have not. Lastly, with Meereen, we see them setting sail for Westeros. Those ships, seeing Daenerys finally heading to Westeros, is basically enough for me to yet again lose my mind. The fact she has the Martell, Sand Snakes, and Tyrell ships with her makes it so much better. And this is where we again see that Cersei is not a long-time planner. She steps on people and doesn't realize that if you step on people enough, or the wrong ones, they can make life hell for you. The last shot of them standing on the boat was epic, okay? It was epic. But my brain, of course, that's constantly thinking about different things while watching this episode, was thinking, you guys just gonna stand there looking all cool the entire voyage? Just trying to... Nobody wants to leave. Like, everyone wants to be the last person standing there just like all fucking heroic and epically. And it's literally like 30 hours later and they're thinking, fuck, I gotta pee, but if I leave, I'm not gonna look cool. I'm not gonna be in my fucking hero stance. So basically they die before they even get to Westeros because of the fatigue. But I'm sure they just were standing there as in a celebration and oh my god, we're finally doing it moment. They stood there for a few minutes and then they all went about their business. Lastly, Winterfell and Beyond the Wall. The Davos-Melisandre confrontation ended differently than how I thought it'd go down. Liam is an astounding actor, and the emotions he put forth this scene were so well done. You could feel how broken-hearted Davos was over what happened to Shireen. I don't know if I would get rid of someone shown to have powers when the others are coming, but I understand why Jon did it. Having someone around that burns children is pretty fucked up. I want to believe this isn't the last time we see Melisandre, and that she still has a role to play in the final battle. Jon and Sansa. Jon forgave her a lot easier than I thought he would, but we kind of forgive family for shit all the time. I also loved Sansa's line, "Only a fool would trust Littlefinger." Poor Ned. And also them cracking up over winter is here. I mean, your entire family saying is just leading up to this. Oh, winter's coming, winter's coming. You hear your father say it all the time. And then it just has to be so comical when it's finally there. Man, our family words are no longer relevant for however space of time this winter lasts. Although winter is coming has multiple meanings, but let's just look at it at the basic level and think, oh, this is super hilarious. Littlefinger and Sansa, surprised she turned him down so easily. Does Littlefinger actually see himself and Sansa on the throne together, or does he see Sansa as a means to get there? Now will Littlefinger continue to pursue her, or move on to something else? Littlefinger will not end up on the Iron Throne no matter how clever he is, and I hope Sansa sees the threat he is and takes him out somehow. I want to jump to Bran, Benjen, and Mira real quick. Benjen confirmed again the wall is magic and the dead can't pass through, which means the wall needs to come down early next season. Now I wonder if Benjen knows that Bran was marked, and if he had known, if he would have told Bran to cross the wall. Regardless, we say goodbye to Benjen once more, maybe for good, who decides Mira is man enough to piggyback Bran to the wall. And Bran decides now is the time to have a little vision adventure because he knew book readers would come for D&D if they didn't finish the Tower of Joy scene. The Tower of Joy scene, back to that music, so perfect. Especially the transition from the baby to adult Jon. I've watched that scene about 12 plus times now, and it just was so beautifully done. I don't take everything that happens on the show as proof or evidence for the books, but this scene I believe does make it very clear that Jon Snow is Rhaegar and Lyanna's child, and that Lyanna made Ned promise to keep him safe and not tell Robert because she believed Robert would kill her baby. And from what we know, Robert and his deep hatred of Targaryens, or dragon spawn, absolutely would have. Now the question is, what was the exact relationship between Rhaegar and Lyanna, and how did he get her to go with him? Which I'm hoping we touch on more next season, and I almost guarantee you they're going to cast for Rhaegar, and we're going to get some Rhaegar scenes next season. Though the look on Ned's face when Lyanna tells him about Jon, imagine fighting a war against people who are the father and grandfather of your nephew. You know your best friend just killed that baby's father. And the fact you fought all this way just to be with your sister while she dies is heartbreaking. Also, did they purposely put Arthur Dayne's bloody sword Dawn over the bloody bed, as in born beneath the bleeding star? Though the sword wasn't there when he was being born, so ah well. So then we shoot back to Jon, and honest to God, that was the best transition I've ever seen. I mentioned I've watched the Tower of Joy scene over and over again. I've watched this one more. The transition with the music from the baby and the eyes to Jon Snow was so incredibly well done. Then we see Jon being declared King of the North after Lyanna Mormont lays the smack down and gives us the North Remember speech, and I'm not even mad about it. To be honest, she's a pretty awesome character, she's done an amazing job, and we got the North Remember speech, so I consider it a win. And that's not to say that I'm not still disappointed about the North not really remembering and forgetting or choosing to cover their eyes and plug their ears until the Boltons were defeated and a little girl rallies them together. I'm still disappointed about that. I'm disappointed about the Manderleys and them only being seen at the very end of the season, and he really wasn't too fat not to sit a horse. Come on. That's like the most important thing about Lord Manderley. I mean, there's other important things, but to me, that was the most important thing. And my God, think about Jon this season. He started off as a dead man and went all the way to becoming the King of the North. He was a bastard who couldn't even sit at the head table with his family to being in charge of all of Winterfell in the North. This has to be mind-blowing for him. Sansa is a bit agitated by Jon becoming Lord of Winterfell, and the interview suggests Team Stark is going to be a little strained. How is this going to come out? Sansa could simply just keep being a little bitchy and maybe trying to work with Littlefinger. Either way, Sansa is going to be a bit annoying next season, I have a feeling. Yeah, she has trust issues, but I feel like she's going to fuck things up for herself again through her being irritated with Jon. So this was one of my favorite finale episodes, and I said one of them, I didn't say the favorite, so important distinction to make. And this episode really did blow me away, and I'm still digesting it. But let's end this video with talking about giveaways. Last week's winner of the $20 gift card for the review was Andrew Fitzgerald, and I don't know why him defending Ramsay tickled me so much. For the Father's Day video, the 13th Olympian who claimed the Storm God from the Age of Heroes, which I thought was extremely clever. Both of you can message me to get your gift card. So new chance to win a $20 gift card to Amazon. All you have to do is like this video and then answer in the comment section below what is one thing you would have changed about this season? And don't get, I mean, you can get mad about people's replies, but just realize that people can have their likes and dislikes, and them saying what they disliked about the season or what they would change is not an attack on the show and is not attacking you or your personal preferences. Let's just make this a fun little discussion about our differences. I just started a fucking war in my comment section, didn't I? God damn it! So make sure you like this video, and thank you so much for watching this review, and thank you for being with me the entire season if you have been. And I really had a blast reviewing these episodes. I hope next year that I can get these out a little bit quicker, but you know, that's life. You kind of just gotta accept that. But again, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. I loved reading your comments. I loved seeing you guys talk about this season with each other, and I'm excited to break down the episodes in different ways while we wait for the next season to start. To my regular subs, we're going to go back to my audio-only Game of Thrones history videos on Sunday, starting either this week or next week. I hope this Sunday. I really don't want to delay this another week because I've been missing doing the history videos. And we're also going to have a little bit different videos as well, but I will announce that in an update video. Next, Dorne, and I said that without flinching. First off, D&D, thank you for showing Dorne again, simply because I realized in another review where I said I would give you my firstborn child if you never showed Dorne again, I realized I was being a bit hasty. Or I'd kill a bum. I'd rather sacrifice a child than a bum, though. Probably shouldn't put that on camera. And then we see Jon as being declared King of the North after Lyanna Mormont. God damn it,